Chelsea today were absolutely miserable. I can honestly say sitting through that whole 90 minutes was probably one of the most agonizing and painful experiences I have watched. Now, that's not saying a lot this season because there's been a lot of bad performances from Chelsea this season, especially the second half of the season. But I can honestly say that this was certainly the worst. I think this is mostly because the fact that this is really the only piece of silverware Chelsea really should be going for. And today, what I just watched, there was just really no fight, no passion, nothing. It was just one of the most gutless displays of football I have watched. Not really from a player perspective, from the team, where the whole team just really showed no fight and no idea at all, but also a very clueless tactical display from the manager. Throughout start to finish, their whole performance was lackluster. Now, before I just get into the match reaction, I just want to lay off my biases real quick. Enzo Maresca is well out of his depth. I think he's shown to me that he is just a championship manager at best, and I feel like this game just symbolized everything to me. Now, throughout the whole second half display, I have not seen a plan B from Maresca. I've also seen many abject displays away from home. Now, against top six teams throughout this season, as well as previous seasons, Chelsea haven't really won against a top six side, apart from Tottenham. But even for a game of like some significance, like an FA Cup game, a cup game that Chelsea should really be going for and competing for, we just go out with such a complete whimper. And throughout that game, he really shown no tactical change throughout the game. He makes knee-jerk substitutions, especially going 2-1 down. And really the impact throughout that game is from the substitutions were non-existent. I cannot tell you like any difference that the substitutions made, what really made the team any better from an attacking sense, from a pressing sense, from a part, like anything. It didn't change anything at all. And I think it just shows everything about the manager. Now, I'm not going to really make any comments about whether he deserves to be sacked or not. I think him getting sacked now would be crazy. And I don't think the club will be prepared to do this. But I really honestly think by the end of the season, the club has to really evaluate whether he is the right manager. Because it's shown to me that realistically, he's not a great manager. And results show as well. And it doesn't really look like Chelsea are really competing for anything. It seems that we've really gone backwards, to be honest with you. Like, even with Pochettino, probably with not really the players of the squad that he has compared to what Maresca had, at least we were in a cup final, League Cup final, lost unluckily to Liverpool, and also a cup semi-final, which we lost to Man City. But now we've gone out like so early of the League Cup and the FA Cup. I honestly think at the moment you really can't excuse that. And I really think the manager deserves so much criticism for that display today. Now, I left my biases aside. Let's actually talk about the game itself. Pure trash. Just garbage. Chelsea go 1-0 up. And I feel like that goal was just the only real piece of luck that Chelsea could really only get. It wasn't really created with any sort of tactical build-up play. It was literally just a long ball straight to Cole Palmer. And he obviously tried to make a low drill cross into the Brighton box. But it was miskicked and the pace of the ball, made the goalkeeper spill the ball into his own net. I think realistically, you look at the replay of that, the goalkeeper should save that. I don't believe Palmer made any attempt to really hit that shot on target. If anyone thinks that's the case, I guess maybe you might have something to believe, but I personally think it was more of a low drill cross and the goalkeeper just spewed the ball into the net. And that was really the only real piece of luck that Chelsea had throughout the game. But apart from that, Chelsea were pretty dreadful. Like, again, defensively dreadful. I don't think Chelsea have got a consistent back line, and it just shows that Chelsea can't keep clean sheets at all. And this game proved it. Brighton were pressing. They put a cross into the box, straight into the head of Ruta, who did a very good header to put past Sanchez. And I think at 1-1, the game was poised, and it didn't even take long for Brighton to equalise after the mistake. And at that point, there wasn't really a lot from both sides. But then the second half happened, and then Chelsea just completely fell apart. Just nothing really to show. And there's been so many poor second half performances throughout the season. Like, genuinely so many poor performances. I remember times that Chelsea would go 1-0 up in the first half, and then the second half would just completely capitulate. It was Fulham, Bournemouth, Manchester City, and now Brighton. And just really poor defending again for the second, led to the second goal. Chelsea failed to clear the ball. Caicedo slips. It hits him. It deflects into the path of a Brighton player that plays the ball straight to Matoma. And Matoma just puts it past Sanchez to make it 2-1. And throughout the game, Brighton felt very poised to really hold on to the lead and even try to make more attempts to go for another goal. But Chelsea really showed nothing throughout that game. Like, absolutely nothing. Now, as much as I would have praised the manager for his good substitutions against West Ham that did actually work after going a goal down in the first half into the second half and then winning the game 2-1, his substitutions today were absolutely appalling. Like I mentioned earlier, he brings on, Enzo Fernandez after Brighton scored, no impact. Brings on Noni Madueke and Tyreek George, no impact. In fact, none of the players made any impact throughout the game at all. Like, even Cole Palmer, I'm always going to have a go at him, but he doesn't ever turn up in these big games at all. Like, even he got involved for the goal that was really an own goal. It wasn't really credited to him. But his whole display was just invisible. Just really no impact at all. And I don't know what the protection is for this guy. I honestly think there has to be some point the manager really has to kind of look at Cole Palmer and think, you're not too good to be staying on the pitch. You should really be off at that point. But again, if you sub him off, I don't know who you would bring on, because it seemed that Chelsea made some changes throughout the January transfer window, loaned some players out, and somehow we're just left with a slightly weaker squad than what we had already. But I don't know. That's the club and the manager, I guess. It's not really for me to decide. But really throughout the game, I can't really pinpoint any player that had a good game. Just read the whole game. There was just no impact from anyone to really get the team going from, even from a setback of going 2-1 down. Nothing. Just completely nothing. And especially for a cup game as well, which is a chance for Chelsea to actually show something and at least the manager to actually get something going. There was nothing throughout the whole performance. It was I'm actually lost for words to really describe what I just saw. Really am. But as much as I could be lost for words to describe Chelsea's performance, at the end of the day, you just got to give Brighton a lot of credit. At the end of the day, they went into this game with very low confidence, considering the fact that they lost 7-0 against Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, to come back with a 2-1 win against Chelsea, I think, is a lot that you have to respect Brighton for the performance and also the manager. But, yeah, for Chelsea, it's another miserable performance, another poor setback. And again, it really draws a lot of question marks about Chelsea's season and the manager. Now, I don't think they're going to make any changes from the manager at all this season. I think certainly by the end, I do think his position should be questioned. And I think there should be questions, especially for the fact that at the end of the day, he has got us knocked out of 2 cup competitions in very early stages. That's not good enough. And certainly the fans should really express that very clearly. But certainly his in-game management hasn't been good. His substitutions haven't been good. I just think at the moment you can't ignore that. And certainly today it was another miserable display. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the game. I'm just lost for words to describe it. But if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.